Of this movie. It's a really good zombie movie. Definitely a few flaws here and there, though. So, for this plot, it's very simple. Some soldiers or whatever go into this research lab and they find some researchers, obviously, with a bunch of monkeys. And the monkeys have the zombie disease because of something they gave them instead of, doing something that I'm pretty sure would be standard protocol to, kill the monkeys since they have an infectious, contagious disease. They just lock them up in cages and stay there 24/7, I guess. But of course, the soldiers don't listen to them. They think they're just sick, crazy scientists for experimenting on animals. And they try and let the monkey out, which spreads the virus. And then we get to and scene with a naked man in a hospital bed. And he wakes up, meets two people, Mark and Selena. Unfortunately, Mark doesn't last long because another part of this zombie movie is that you don't have to get bitten to get infected. Blood just has to be come in contact with your skin. So, blood comes in contact with Mark's skin, and Selena doesn't hesitate to kill him. Which later goes to a line where Selena says, "Hey, I won't hesitate to kill you if you ever get infected." Which obviously will matter later, but let's not talk about that now. Eventually, they see like Christmas lights outside of a building, so they realize that there's probably people there. So they go there, and then this is where we end up for most of the movie, is with these two characters, Frank and his daughter Hannah. They do not say where the mom is, though we do see her in a photo. Yet they act like they're just a big happy family. Like, did the mom die of cancer before the whole zombie apocalypse? Did she die during the zombie apocalypse? They just pretend that the mom character doesn't exist. She's never mentioned, besides the fact that Hannah looks at a photo with her in it. She's never mentioned at all. It's very weird. It's like she doesn't even exist. Because there's later a scene where they talk about how they're a happy family. And being a family is probably the best thing you can have in a zombie apocalypse. But they don't mention the fact that she doesn't have a mom. I found that very weird. Eventually, they go to the roof, which I think is a very unique scene, where we find out that he has like a shit ton of buckets up there, and it's to catch water. So, to get fresh water, they have to wait until it rains. So, he has a bunch of buckets on the roof, which is probably the smartest thing I've ever seen in a zombie movie. It's a pretty cool thing. Does not get used, though. So, that sucks. Since apparently hasn't rained in 10 days. And we actually do get to see rain in the final act of the movie, which I thought was pretty cool. But that's just me. Eventually, they go to this place that they listen to. They found like this recording on the radio, whatever, of soldiers that are providing protection and food. So they go there, it's pretty empty and abandoned. All the trucks and shit are looted, they're empty. So naturally, the dad is frustrated and he sees a crow nibbling on a dead body. Which I have a bit of a problem with this part because, as we've seen, the monkeys are the whole thing that, cause infection, so animals can get infected. And later, we see, actually before, we see horses and they talk about, do you think they're infected? And then he goes, no, I think they're all right. He doesn't say that horses can't get infected. So this bird should get infected. And we also learn 10 to 20 seconds is how long it takes them to, turn into a zombie. So that crow should have turned into a zombie and attacked them, but no, it just kind of flies away when he kicks the thing. But it was already eating it. And when he kicks the thing, because he's pissed off that the crow was eating a dead body, blood hits him in the eye. And we lose Frank. Because now he's a zombie. And we lose him, not by, one of the main characters killing him or anything. I forgot the main character's name, so I'm gonna look. Jim. Not by Jim killing him, but by the soldiers finally appearing. They were hiding in the grass. I guess they just didn't hear Frank scream at the top of his lungs, "Where the fuck are we gonna go?" So now Frank is sadly dead. Then we get this scene with Christopher Eccleston, aka, from what I know him, the Ninth Doctor. He also played Milkeef in the shitty Thor 2 movie. And a bunch of other soldiers. We meet this dude named Mitchell, who is a piece of shit. We meet this dude named Doris, who seems nice at first, but, he kind of is friends with all the rapists, so he can go fuck himself. And then this dude named Farrell, who actually has common decency, and the movie just forgets about him. Because later, him and Jim don't want Hannah and Selena to be raped, so they fight back. But they get taken out to get executed since they don't want people to be raped. And Doris gets a little trigger happy and shoots at Mitchell. And Mitchell gets mad at him, attacks him, which gives them both a chance to run. I never see Farrell die, though they do shoot like crazy. So maybe Farrell died, but they just never showed it. He never screamed, nothing. But we never see him die. They just kind of forget about him. Of course, Jim survives since he's the main character. So, we actually did get introduced to this zombie called Mailer. He got infected 2 days ago. And Christopher Eccleston's character wants to see how long it takes infected to die. So, naturally, he gets killed by Mailer later when Jim lets him free, which is very ironic. But he's the only zombie that comes outside, which I think is stupid since there is like at least 2, maybe 3 other infected. So you'd think they would have came out too. I get why he was killed by Mailer because it was supposed to be ironic, but it doesn't make sense why there wasn't any other zombies outside. And the movie almost ends, because I thought this was where they were going to end it, but they don't, with Hannah driving a car, and she has to go through the gate because it's locked. So they scream at her to just do it because they don't want to get attacked by zombies, obviously. She clicks her seatbelt and she runs into the gate, and both of them go flying, and the scene ends. Because apparently the child was smart enough to buckle her seatbelt, but not the 2 full-grown adults. It cuts to Selena trying to keep Jim alive, telling him to breathe, cussing. And then it cuts to 28 days later, and Jim is alive. I assumed it was supposed to be 28 days later when he woke up in the hospital, since later when they meet the soldiers, it's been like 4 weeks. So it's been, obviously a little bit over, 28 days now. But it's obviously been a few days since he joined Mark and Selena. But, I don't know, they don't really explain what day it was when he woke up, because he doesn't ask what day it was or anything. He's more worried about. Isn't actually too surprised about this. He thinks he's hallucinating for like 2 seconds, and then he just kind of accepts the fact that they're zombies. It's a very different reaction, to say the least. Oh, they also have one thing that I almost completely forgot to mention. He sleeps and he takes like these painkillers or something, like sleeping meds or whatever. I don't remember exactly what they said they were to help him sleep. And he has a dream that Frank and Hannah and all of them abandon him. And then we cut to a scene of him actually waking up not too long later, and nobody's around. And then we hear a horn honk, and apparently he like overslept and everyone was up before him. I thought that was a pretty cool scene. The movie does actually end with they have like this thing they've been sewing that says hello, and a plane flies by and the movie ends saying, "Do you think they actually saw us this time?" So kind of leaving you hopeful that maybe they're gonna survive. I do think this is a really good zombie movie. I think there's a sequel, because I've read some stuff. Because there's like something about like 28 weeks later. Yeah. It's completely different characters, so I doubt it's going to be very good. Because whenever you do a sequel to a movie, 28 months later, what the hell? Okay, this is just weird. So it's apparently a franchise. This movie feels like it would be good on its own. Very weird. But yeah, I guess that's about it.